Hi students. Today we're doing a lesson on research note cards. This is something that's really going to help you with your extended essay, and I promise you if you learn this method and you use it, it's going to help make writing your essay a whole lot easier. So today we have an exercise. Research note cards. Research note cards are a method for taking notes that will allow you to both outline and write your extended essay, or really any formal research paper. Why do we do research note cards? Well, we do them to reduce the chance of plagiarism. Chances are, if you're doing your research in the right way and you're taking notes in a way that reduces the chance of you accidentally quoting somebody in your notes, then you're reducing the chances of plagiarism. Also, it makes it easier to do citations. A lot of my students have done a pretty poor job of doing their in-text citations, and they try to do them all at the end. With a 4,000 word essay, the last thing you want to be doing at the final editing stages is putting citations in. You should put them in the first place and then not have to worry about them. Also, you're able to be physically, or these note cards are able to be physically manipulated and organized. So if you take notes on note cards, you'll actually be able to lay them out on a table or on the floor to put them together into logical groupings that will help you do your physical outline. And for those of you who are kinesthetic learners like I am, being able to actually move your research around before you write the paper is pretty helpful. So how do we do our research note cards? Well, step one is to choose a single source. It doesn't matter what that source is. It can be a textbook, a website, a journal article, or whatever source that your extended essay advisor has chosen for you. Now, the first thing you want to do with your source is evaluate the source. You don't want to start taking notes from something that you ultimately end up thinking isn't actually that useful. So take the time to look at your source, consider, is it going to address the information that you need it to, and only use that source if you think it is a valid, academic, standard, good type of source. And then once you've done that, you want to record the full bibliographic citation in the correct style on a note card. What do I mean by style? And which style should I use? Well, there are three main styles that we use here in this school. There's MLA style, which is standard for English, Chicago style, which is standard for history, and APA, which is standard for most of your sciences. If you're not really sure which method you should be using, for now you can use MLA, but really you should ask your extended essay advisor and ask them as soon as possible, because you want to be doing your citations correctly from the beginning so that 12 months from now you're not trying to track down a source that you found this month and try to get the citation for it. Once you've chosen your source and you're sure that you're going to use it, the first thing that you do before taking any notes is you create a note card. Now, this is a sample MLA citation for a book with a single author. You'll see it has a last name and then first name, the title of the book, the city of publication, the publisher, the year of publication, and the fact that it was a print document. If you find something on the web, instead of it saying print, it will say web. What are some things you should notice about this citation? Well, this one I have color-coded with blue to accentuate the punctuation. Punctuation is really important in citations. You'll notice that it is the last name with the last name capitalized, a comma, and then a first name, and then a period. The title of a book, if you were typing this, would be italicized, but you can't really italicize your handwriting. So what you do when you're writing it is you underline it when it's handwritten, and when you type it up, you know that underline means to italicize. There's a period at the end of the book. The city of publication is followed by a full colon. Then the publisher is capitalized with a comma after the publisher. Then the year of publication and a period, print, and a period. Notice on this side you also have a hanging indent. It doesn't matter when the line breaks. You want to start at the top line and start all the way over on the edge, and then write on that line until you run out of room. After you run out of room, you go to the next line and you indent, and you keep writing until you get to the end, and you keep doing that. That's a hanging indent. It's kind of like a reverse paragraph, but in MLA style, that is how the citation is supposed to be written. There are special rules for each citation style and for each source type. You need to look this up, and since you have fabulous computers in your pockets, get out your phones, you may look it up online. Noodle tools can help, but Noodle tools can only help if you know what you're looking for. So make sure you're consulting online your correct APA, Chicago, or MLA style to make sure you are getting the correct information for your style. It is different for each one. So back to the note card. On your note card, you want to record the full citation in the correct format, and you write it on your note card just like this, starting on this line all the way over at the left, continuing to the right, doing a hanging indent, and when you're finished writing, you put a letter. You want to give each source card a letter, write the letter large, and circle it. This source is the only source that you will code with the letter A. Your next source is B, your next source is C. That gives you all the way to have 26 sources, and then if you run out, you can do double A and double B. Your first source will be letter A. So now that you have your bibliographic citation on a note card, put it aside and proceed with step 2. Step 2 is to read the source. As you're reading the source, you want to identify useful information, which can be facts or ideas. And then, as you see something, you're like, that's pretty good. I think I might want to include that in my research paper. You want to record a single fact, one fact, or a quote, or an idea on an individual note card. It looks like this. So this is a separate note card. Your citation card is to the side. This is a fact card. On your card, you're going to put the page number where you found your quote or fact. You're going to put your source letter. In this case, you're still working with source A. And here in the middle, you're going to write the one important fact or quote that you want to record. You also want to put a topic here at the top. Now, if your topic is Alexander the Great, the topic on this note card isn't Alexander the Great. It needs to be more specific, like, is this Alexander's early life, or is this Alexander's military training, or is it his education? And your topic would be education or military training when you already know that the big topic for your paper is Alexander the Great. Tip: try not to copy sentences from your source. As much as possible, you want to just include the facts and leave out all the other information. If you do a really good job of this in the first place, then you'll never plagiarize because the only information you have recorded has been written in your own words or has been so selectively pulled apart that it's not actually a quote. Tip number 2. If you absolutely must copy word for word, that is a quote. Then if it is a quotation, you need to use quotation marks. It is really important that if you didn't write it in your own words, you go ahead and put quotation marks on your note card so that later you will look at it and say, oh, these are not my words. And at that point, you'll either need to rewrite it in your own words or actually include the entire quotation with quotation marks. Here's another tip. Be sure that you record the page number where you found it. This is going to help you with your in-text citation. So you want to make sure that you include the page number and that you include the source letter. Next tip. You must do a separate note card for each fact. You should not be putting multiple facts on a single sheet or a single note card. This will help you to mix them up and organize them later when you've got some facts that go with one topic and some that go with another topic. Yes, that's a lot of cards. Do it anyway. And my last tip, which I already said, is to include a general topic at the top of your card. And like I said, this is going to help you organize things later. You're going to do this for each card or each fact that you find in source A. And then after you're finished with source A, you put source A aside and you get a new source. That will be source B. You start with making a citation for source B, and then you record facts for source B. You do not record facts from source B that you have already recorded from source A. You only record new facts from source B. You do note cards for source B as long as you have new facts to record, and then you move on to source C. That should be pretty simple. Today's exercise, you are going to be using world history textbooks to do research. You have a choice of 2 topics. You may either research Alexander the Great, or you may research Louis XIV, who was the Sun King of France. There are writings about each of these men in each of the history textbooks, and you should have at least 5 history textbooks to choose from. I'll be back halfway through the period, and I expect by the time I get back for you to have a minimum of 20 completed note cards. Good luck.